So, just thought I'd show you a few little bits and bobs I've got in the post today. So first of all, I've got these like little clips or shackles. They're really good. They're really cheap. They're 304 stainless steel. I've been using them all my boats for the last 2 years, and they actually haven't rusted at all. So, I mean, sea salt would be the best test of it, but they are good quality. And I've actually been using one of these to moor up Mocking D to the mooring when I've been going out using them as a tender. You get 6, I think about £10, so about £1.50 each. Yeah, just needed a few of these. They're really good ad hoc clips that you can use all over the boat. I've also got some like pliers set. I've got a pair of pliers, small size, so they'll fit in my little cupboard. These are like wire cutters, which are needed. I do have those on the pliers as well. And then this one's like bottle nose pliers, long nose pliers, something like that. I won't use all of these on my boat because these pliers in particular, the long nose ones, I do need a pair of those for my own toolkit. But I do need a pair of pliers and possibly wire cutters on the boat. Like desperately need a pair of pliers that maybe stay on the boat because they're so useful. You can screw bolts up with them if you have to, pull stuff with them. They can be an extra third pair of hands sometimes. So they'll definitely go on the boat. And these are Draper again, like my ratchet set I recently bought. I kind of like Draper. They're not top-notch quality, but they're kind of like my quality. So, you know, they're good, cheap, or inexpensive, but good quality. I've got these, so let's have a quick look at these. We're now coming on to the bird scaring stuff. Now, I do have a bit of a bird problem in my own garden at home as well. So, what I don't use on the boat, I'll definitely use there. These are these little sort of spiral things. So you might be able to see them. They kind of glint in the light, apparently. I don't know if we can get a bit more of a bit of light on them. I don't know. But the idea is you hang them up. They scare the big birds away because big birds don't tend to like light or refraction or things glistening in the sun. I hope that includes seagulls. And the other thing is they drop. If I can aim these properly on a piece of line, then, you know, maybe if a bird sits on the deck and these are sort of wafting and waggling around in the wind, you know, it'll touch them. And, you know, birds don't like to be touched. It'd annoy me if that was bopping me on the head all day. So there's those. I've also got some scare tape. This is just like reflective tape. And it's supposed to be quite tough. You just tie it in a knot over whatever you want. And what I've actually done is I've made a little 2 lines with CDs on them. I've knotted the line so the CDs will go, you know, along the whole length of that line. And the line I'm going to maybe find some kind of attachment point up the mast, and then they'll come down diagonally to the stern of the boat, and we'll try and find. One of the reasons I got these clips down here actually was to try and find a really quick way of clipping them, and then the tape can maybe go on those lines as well. Now what I need to do is make sure that I can scare these birds away, but number one, I don't want to hurt the birds. I just don't want them, you know, nesting on my boat and making a mess of my boat. None of this will hurt them. But the other thing I need to do is make it quick to put up and down. So, you know, if I've just got 2 lines that I can unclip or clip up, that would be perfect. So we'll go with that. And then we'll see if we manage to time will tell, won't it, if we manage to keep the birds away or not. Otherwise, we'll have to come up with some plan Bs. But that's just a few little bits and bobs I've been buying today. I'm just redoing the connector on my TP10. Because I forgot to put the sleeving on it, and also I had a little bit of a problem with these connectors. I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the ends of the wire, just because it was just coming apart and they were fraying too much and not connecting so well. I think I got away with the other side of these, but I think sometimes if you just put a little bit of solder into the, let that soak in, it solves a multitude of problems with fraying wires. So I'm hoping that will create, yeah, a much better bond on there. So let's do this side. Same thing. Yeah, that's much better. Next job, get these heated up and just sealed. You may just be able to see like this sort of little sealing solution that kind of liquefies inside. There you go. Whoa, that was my finger. Lovely. Just want to be careful not to damage the wire or the wiring inside. Should be enough. Cable that comes with my Petrol Mariner 6 horsepower outboard, and this here plugs in and should create a temporary waterproof enough seal to the two little wires that come out of the engine, and they provide about a 50 or 60 watts electric current, which I can use to charge my battery. So I figure it's a bit naff, this wire. Look, it's just like two wires put in a loose plastic sheathing, but quite frankly it'll probably work. And I don't have any of these little connectors to make my own cable at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use these sort of ends on here. So I'm going to snip these off, and I'm going to put one of my SEA connectors on the end of it, because then we can just plug this into where the solar panel is going in. And this gives us a rudimentary way to get this electrolyzed. So let's, without any further ado, get these snipped off. I always overspec my wires because I'm always worried about, look at the thickness of those, but it doesn't really matter at this level of electrics, to be frank. I've been getting sort of loose, they're just being a little bit loose and falling out. But I mean, if you crimp them properly, I also think if you tin the cables, they work a bit better because there's something really meaty to hold on to. And then all we'll do is we'll tin these and then just let that solder just soak into the wire. There we go. Perfect. The last one. Actually, these have worked out really, they've fitted really well, actually. You just have to make sure you thread this through, otherwise you end up damaging the one you've already done. A liquid tug just to make sure. Okay, there we go, job done. You'll see just inside here, look, it's you sort of see the liquid melt, and then as they shrink, the liquid forms like a watertight seal around them. So they're pretty watertight like that. There you go, you can see they're really tight and watertight there. Let those cool off, and once those are cooled off, we'll just slip this sheathing. Actually, they cool down quite quickly. We're going to slip this sheathing over approximately in the middle and give this a heat up as well. This gets so hot though, red hot, and then that gives a nice double waterproof seal. So when we need we need to charge anything from the motor, we plug this into the motor and then that goes straight to the battery. Or because we're using these SAE connectors as universal connectors all over the boat, we can plug it into whatever it might run. I have no idea what it will run. I guess if you fuse make sure you don't push too many amps down it, you can run anything from your motor, I guess. it's looking really good for my first ever sea cruise in Lulu next week, in fact. So I'll do another post about that. But one thing I want to make sure is working is my outboard. And as you can see, the cover's off. You can't run an outboard without a water intake, but you can run it for a couple of seconds just to check it turns over. And this old girl's kind of dead. Now, she's brand new, but what she does have in her is the tiniest bit of unleaded fuel that is, I don't know, I'd have to check my videos myself, but I think when I bought this and poured a little bit of fuel in just to test her, I think she was, I think it's well over 6 months ago. It was sort of the end of the summer. Oh, yeah, 6 to 9 months, which means the fuel's probably gone off and it's not going to ignite anymore. So I've got two ways we can get around this. First of all, we can pour more new fuel into the tank and it would mix with the old fuel and it would give it enough oomph to get it going. But I don't really want to do that because I want to be using my fuel tank and keeping this fuel tank as empty as possible. So what I am going to do, I'm going to actually remove the fuel tank and I'm going to see if I can just drain it, and then I'm going to put a little bit of fuel in, fresh fuel, to see if I can get it to run again like that. First job is to get the fuel tank out. So there's a bolt here and there's a bolt the other side. Now what I don't want to do is lose this little collar, yeah, as it comes out. So I'm going to leave that bolt there. I think this is it. I've had a good look. And I can't find any other bolts anywhere else. So let's just see if we can keep those like that. And yeah, that will just have to come out of the way. Let's just see. Now, yeah, I think that's it. Now, we've got the fuel tank in the off position. And then the only other thing we need to now do is, well, I was hoping I could lift the fuel pipe up and out a little bit. What is it, I wonder? Or if it's got, I don't think it's got, it says it might have a petrol gauge in it, but I don't think it has. Ah, there we go. Okay. So let's move that. And there we go. So now I think I can get a container and I can just pour, in fact, I've got a really good container here. I can now just pour that out very carefully. Whoop, there goes a bolt. Oh, I think those metal bolts, those little metal collars are sort of pushed in. So first thing I need to do is just get control of that top. And then if we can do this without pouring, oh gosh, without undoing any pipes, that'd be brilliant. There we go. There we go. So it's only the tiniest amount of fuel there, but if it's off, it's off. You can sometimes smell the fuel. If it smells a bit varnishy or sweet, there is a distinctive smell. When I did my little Mariner, oh, there's a little rubber bung at the bottom here that it sort of seats in. That's what it is. There we go. When I actually did my little two-stroke engine, I explained on that video, there's like a distinct smell to the fuel, and if it smells remotely like that, then it's time for it's time for fresh fuel, really. Now this isn't going in. I don't know. I think it is. I think it needs to go down like a millimetre, but it's just not having it. Let's give it a little wiggle, see if that helps. There we're almost there. That's it. I think it just needed to slot in, and then all we need to do now, put these bolts back in. this 4-stroke engine is so much more complicated than the 2-stroke engine. Which is crazy, isn't it? Let's just double check we've got nothing trapped there. No, we're looking good. There we go. So that's the fuel tank completely empty. What we'll now need to do is, first and foremost, that needs to kind of go back, push back on. Oh, there you go. That goes like that. What we'll now need to do is put some fresh fuel in and give it a start, see if it'll start.